we've made it to episode 500. Who would have guessed, eh? All those years ago, 2006. Even, we started before the iPhone was invented. How long ago is that? It just doesn't seem possible, does it? But yes, there's these Aussie Tech Heads. I'm Glenn Goodman. Welcome to episode 500. And it is the 1st of September, 2016. Now, you might be saying, what happened to episode 500 last week? Well, we'll get into that in a little minute. There was no show last week for big technical problem reasons, but I'll explain what happened to my system in a little bit. But tonight, or this week, and for the show, we have got on the panel, we welcome back Michael. Hey, Michael, from the Aussie Mac Zone. How you doing?
Fantastic, thanks, mate.
That's
and
good.
Happy 500. That's
Yes.
what I have to say.
And as you can see, he is the one-eyed Apple supporter. What's happened to your eye there?
I had a cataract operation today, so
Right.
yeah.
Now, you should have had that on Sunday. You could have turned up and saw Woz with that thing going.
I should have, shouldn't I?
Yeah. Now for that,
What a good night! What that was too.
Now we'll talk to you about that too in a little
Yeah.
minute. Now, but so you get an idea of what's going on. Michael's had an eye operation. He's got this big bandage over one eye and an old Apple sticker stuck right on there. So yeah, good work.
Loud and proud.
That's the way. That's the colourful one. And we've got William. Hey, Will, how's it doing?
Hey mate, how you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. How's your week been?
It's definitely been a week.
Yeah,
Definitely been a week, yeah.
the week from hell.
It's been,
Busy.
Cam got sick on last Friday, so he was in hospital for 3 days
No.
I got a complete blank, something anyway in his lungs. And
pleurisy or something.
No, it's basically it's, I just got a complete blank, I'm so tired.
That's all
But
right.
basically it's what would normally present us with a normal cold, head cold,
Yeah.
nothing major. In a baby, it's 8-9 months old, they don't have the muscles in their lungs to cough out the phlegm, so it ends up blocking all the small capillaries in the lungs.
Yeah, okay, poor little
And
thing.
they struggle to breathe, and they start breathing with their abs and stuff, and it gets really tiring.
Yes.
so-
Yeah, so he's all right. He's on the mend.
Yeah, no, he's fine. His sleep routine is his routines in general. He was in hospital for 3 days, and it's just completely destroyed his patterns.
Yeah, it would do too.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah, he's doing all right. And
Yeah.
then the worst part is because I was running backwards and forwards to the hospital and getting stuff and making sure everyone else was doing what they needed to do and making sure Son was sleeping and all that sort of stuff. I ended up getting run down, so I ended up copping the flu.
Jeez. Well,
So I'm dosed up on olive leaf extract and echinacea and multivitamins and Codral at the moment. So I'm
right.
good.
Just stay on that side of the microphone, please.
Yes. Well, we're happy that you are on the mend, and we appreciate you coming in for this week's show, because it's there's no good trying to do something when you don't feel too well. So thanks, Will. We are brought to you by athwebhosting.com.au, and also don't forget to listen to the Aussie Tech Radio. Get it on the easiest way is the TuneIn Radio app, just across all platforms, iOS, Windows 10, Android, whatever else, desktop, whatever, and just search for the Aussie Tech Radio. It's a 24/7 wall-to-wall Aussie podcasts from around Australia and New Zealand. So new podcast this week. Joining us this week on there is the Apple Slice. They do a fortnightly one, so look out for that one as it goes round and round this week on the Aussie Tech Radio. And speaking of Apple, don't forget the Aussie Mac Zone. They've just come out of episode 156. They've streamed it live to Facebook as well. I turned it on the Facebook on my phone and watched it on the big screen on the telly. It was awesome. So well done, Michael. That was good. Good to see you harnessing the technology down there.
Oh, we're trying to keep up with you fellas. That's all I can say.
God, well, that wouldn't be too hard.
No.
It is a challenge, I understand.
Yes. And also other podcasts to keep your eye out for is the Obsidian Loft, Old Fart Geeks, and the Aussie Tech Security, which is back. A new episode, Season 2 of the Aussie Tech Security this week, and it's also on the Aussie Tech Radio. So search the iTunes for the Aussie Tech Security, and YouTube at youtube.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Alrighty. Now, what are we going to talk about? I reckon the most important or most interesting thing this week so far is Michael went and saw Woz. Tell us a bit about Woz, Michael.
Yeah, so it was a good night out. there was a lot of people. I went to Australian Technology Park in Redfern in Sydney, and there were 2,500 people there.
Yeah,
and I
that's
reckon
a few.
That's a few, and that caused a bit of an issue. I don't think they were I don't understand quite why they weren't expecting that many people, because there appeared to be a seating issue for a little while.
Right.
And amazingly, the ratio was about 60-40 men and women.
Yeah.
Which I thought was very high and good to see.
Yes.
Very diverse.
He's a chick magnet.
He must be, yeah. Yeah.
Good on him.
It was sort of well laid out for the people that were there. They had big screens, so people that couldn't quite see him directly on each side could see him.
Yep.
And I don't know whether it started half an hour late or not, but he talked almost non-stop for an hour and a half, and with excitement and passion, and it wasn't just put on. And even though it was his, I don't know, 4th or 5th night in a row, because he's been to New Zealand, Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney.
Now, he's got a daughter that lives out here, married an Australian, or the other way around?
I think it's his son lives out here.
Yeah, married an Aussie
Sydney?
girl, something like that. Got a
Yeah.
grandchild out here or something.
Yeah.
I think he spends about 6 months of the year in Australia.
Spends a fair bit, yeah.
Yeah. And what did he talk about, like the old days, or what sort of
He talked about, like, the stories about the garage never really existed. Like, it was never true that they spent so much time in the garage building everything.
Right. Where'd they build? Did he say where they did build it?
It was in the house.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. They sat in the garage and had drinks and stuff, and
Yep.
and he talked about all the pranks that he used to do and how much fun they had doing that.
Yeah. Did he?
Like from the blue box telephone thing where it sent tones down to give you free phone calls.
Yeah.
To his TV blockers where he'd make. There was one colour TV in one of the dorms, and they'd go down there, and he had this TV thing that would make it go fuzzy.
Right.
So he ended up making people stand at different angles and everything to make the TV work, and he'd just be holding the button in, and the TV would be perfect. You take the person would move, he'd take his finger off it, it'd go fuzzy.
Now, did he talk much about Steve Jobs?
Yeah. Yeah, he talked about different parts about Steve and what was true and what wasn't true.
Yeah, fondly? Like fondly?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I think I heard him on the radio on the Ray Hadley show not too long ago, obviously, doing the rounds for, getting some excitement for the show. And he was saying that that he's still got, he's still got shares, or he still gets paid by Apple for some reason, and he doesn't want to let that go because he's the longest serving employee or something.
Yeah.
Did that?
I'm sure he's still employed. Like,
yeah, as in some capacity.
There,
yeah, in some capacity, and he doesn't want to give it up because he's the longest one. But so that was good. So that was interesting that you said there was a lot of females there, because normally it's a male orientated industry, isn't it? The tech industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would have thought maybe 10%. And we're not talking blokes dragging their wife or their girlfriends along, because just on my row of seats there was 3 guys next to me, 3. Yeah. And on the right hand side, and on my left hand side there were 3 women.
Yeah. Now, I think, Will, you were tossing up whether you were going to go and see him. I think you sort of asked me. We sort of ummed and ahed, and in the end, I ahed and didn't go. But
I wasn't going to go by myself.
Well, that's what I said. So, crash. We both didn't go. But look, being in Brisbane and everything, too far away, isn't it?
Well, it's not that. The worst part about where they hold anything in Brisbane, there's 2 main venues where they hold things, and both of them are just stupid to get to. There's, the public transport's abysmal at best in this city. And when there's an event on, and the night that he was on, there was actually a football match on as well.
Right.
And there was something on an entertainment centre. So the 3 peak venues were loaded with different events, and it would have been impossible to move in this city when that happens. Yeah. So that kind of turned me off it as well.
Yeah, and I think it was $110 or something.
Yeah, look, I'd be prepared to pay that for what it was.
Yeah, that would depend where you wanted to sit.
No, I think that was the cheap tickets.
Yeah. Look, I have. Where was it at? In Brisbane, I can't remember. Was it like at the entertainment centre? Because that's a pig to get to, that thing.
In terms of, no, it was at the exhibition centre.
Oh yeah. Look, I don't think.
Yeah.
Maybe from your end of town, it might be public transport might be a bit dicky, but I found it not too bad.
Once you get so you come where you come in. If you catch a train from where you are, you end up right in the middle of the city. So it's okay. But from where I am, I've got to catch 2 buses to get to the train, then catch 2 different trains to get into the city.
Yeah,
that's before I get to the venue.
Yeah, it's a lot easier from the Goldie.
And I'm a quarter the distance that you are away.
Yes. Yeah, well, we just go straight up into, like Roma Street or wherever, like South Bank, South Brisbane, I think is the best station for the entertainment centre. And it's just probably a 500-metre walk, something like that from there. So it's not too bad. Coming home at, 11 at night on the train can be a bit scary around Beenleigh, but it's not too bad. It's all right. All right. Let's see. What are we going to talk about now? Let's have a go at. Look, what happened? Why wasn't the show on last week? Well, as you know, or maybe you don't know, because
I don't know. I had no reason. We just forgot about it. That's all.
For some reason, it just slipped our minds. But look, it was my problem. It was Windows 10, and I think, this machine that I'm on, that I do everything with, it was a machine that was Windows 7, and then it was updated or upgraded, shall we say, or updated to Windows 10, and then I thought, why not update it to the anniversary edition?
Because apparently he doesn't listen to the shows that he's on.
No, I just start sleeping when Will talks.
The week before we discussed how you don't upgrade to the new version because it destroys webcams and it destroys audio and things like that.
So anyway, the Windows 10 anniversary edition. Now, I thought, this can't be true. Can it? Can this be true? But anyway, Microsoft made a significant change with the release of the Windows 10 and support for webcams. That's caused great masses of problems for not only consumers but also the enterprise people. The problem is that after installing the update, Windows no longer allows USB cams to use MJPEG or H.264 encoded streams.
You mean the 2 encoded streams that all webcams use?
Yeah. And it's only allowing the YUY2 encoding. So what did I do? I updated, and then we got all ready for the show, and then I went, where's my webcam? I don't have a webcam. So what do you do?
So it went from YU2 to up U2, did it?
It did, so yeah, up you as well. That's right.
The webcam that I have, and I've got a million different webcams around here, different qualities, ages, microscopes, all sorts of stuff. The only webcam I have that has YU2 is one of those, one of the ones you put down a pipe or whatever. And it's crap, but it works perfectly fine on the new updated Windows. So there you go.
Yeah. So anyway, I reformatted the whole machine, but you know what? I reformatted it with the anniversary edition, and everything came back just as good as new. Don't ask me why, but it did. It fixed a lot of bugs.
Because by the time you updated it, they'd fixed the bugs and they'd released the patch for it.
Look, if you do have a problem with it, there is a registry fix that I did do, and it did fix it. But by that time, I was just, we just called it off. But so if you have got the anniversary edition without the webcam functionality, just search for the fix webcam Win 10 anniversary. That is a registry fix, not hard, easy, and it does work. Alternatively, my suggestion would be just to clean install Windows 10 anniversary edition. And you can...
or don't install Windows 10 at all and stay with the perfectly functioning Windows 7.
Or you could do that. Now, you might be saying, where do I get the install CD for Windows 10? Once again, you could Google and there's an little install software. Make sure it's from the Microsoft site, and it'll go through the download. Then you just burn it to a disk, or you can put on USB apparently. But if you get stuck, give me an email and I'll give you a link to it. Okay? I might even put it in the show notes. How's that? I'll put it in the show notes. Let me write this down. I'll put a link to Windows 10 download.
Or use a Mac.
No, I was spewing. I was dead set
Linux
spewing.
works fine too.
What does? Linux. Yeah, I was dead set spewing last week. I'll tell you, I was cursing Microsoft uphill, down dale, everywhere to anyone that would listen.
As I've always said, I would use Linux on day-to-day applications, except there are 2 pieces of hardware that I use for the streaming that do not work under Linux. Other than that, there's absolutely no reason I'm using it on a regular basis, because everything else I do runs perfectly fine under Linux.
Yeah.
Now,
the same as Mac, actually. Ironically, Mac, which is designed for video and audio, doesn't work with the Mbox software. Go figure.
Now, look, we've got a few other stories, and we're going to look. I've got a couple of Apple stories I might run past Michael during the course of the show. So I hope he's up to speed with things. I hope he's been using that good eye for something.
Yes,
something productive. And Will, what did you have a chance to get any stories to talk about, or you?
Yeah, look, there's all sorts of stories. Just I know you touched on the census earlier, but it's just interesting. There's been an article released about how the census field officers now, because obviously everybody's screwed up, and even we've received email letters saying that you haven't completed, and we send them the verification ID that they sent to us, said that's not a valid ID, and we've got a screenshot of it on their website. But apparently they're saying field officers are giving insight into the abuse, skepticism, and death threats are part of the job of being the front line after the schmozzle or the census night. The average census officer has about a collection area of about 500 homes, and there's about 38,000 people being hired to door knock. And about 15% of the people she visited were about positive about the outcome of the census. So if there's 85% of the population is basically saying it's useless. And there's about 50% of the people she met basically told her to get off the property before they're going to
That's
do it.
crazy.
So people basically just over the crap that happened. The fact that there wasn't one piece of information in the census that they couldn't have got from existing records, I think, is what tipped people over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, look, that's crazy. Like we had a bit of a good chat to Roger on the Aussie Tech Security about what his thoughts were. So have a listen to that. It is quite interesting. He just in brief, he doesn't think that there was any data stolen. But interestingly enough, and something that I don't know if anyone here thought about, but he said they never checked the people's computer. As you would not do, I suppose. But he said no one bothered to say check people's computers for keylogging software. No. So if there's keylogging software on your computer and you're punching in all your personal information into the census, well, there you go.
That's why I said to everybody, I said, why are you entering your actual information? Why are you entering your name and your address? It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. All you need to do is, as long as your suburb is correct, you can make up a name and make up an address. As long as you give relatively factual information, I guess, to use for some sort of marketing. Yeah. But the thing is, they're not going to know who you are because it's supposedly all anonymous anyway.
That's right.
And apparently it doesn't make any difference because even though, as I said, we submitted it and we have the screenshot to say we submitted it, and we've received like 5 different emails saying that we haven't submitted it, and we've sent these back and they keep saying that's not a valid ID. And we're like, well, it's your ID. Deal with it.
Yeah. Just ignore them. We'll put them in the trash.
I do, but Son doesn't.
Will's maybe it's from the China. Maybe your ID is from the China server, not the Australian one.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. The first half of the survey went to China, and the second half went to Australia.
Yeah.
Oh, you never know. You never know. Now, is that all you wanted to say about the census, Will?
Yeah, just a quick thing on that. Just saying that give as much as I hate it, give the census collectors a break. They're only doing their job as much. And most of them will probably agree that it was crap as well. All you have to say to them is, I don't, get off my property, and they have to legally leave. They can't be there. So you don't have to abuse them or threaten them or anything. Just tell them to get out.
You got the same empathy for parking inspectors?
Only once I've beaten the crap out of them.
Right. And you're still here. That's good.
Off the record.
Yeah, you're not in. You're not. Yeah,
actually, the easiest way to deal with them is you just chat to them nicely and calmly, and you get them to relax and chill, and they drop their hand. As soon as they drop their hand, you grab their meter box off them. They can't do a damn thing. I'm going to call the cops. And call the cops for who? On what? You don't have me. You don't know me. You have no identification. You don't even have the rego now because I've got the machine.
Now, in celebration of our 500th episode, it was so nice of the Reserve Bank to do this. But they've released a new $5 note. It came out today, so thank you very much.
Was that the the new lot notes they're releasing? Is that the first one that's for the blind?
Yeah, the first.
Yeah,
it came out today. So if you see a funny looking note in your change, have a look at that one if you're on the video, and that's what it's going to look like.
Because it's got Braille on it somewhere, doesn't it?
Oh, I think it's got a few things. It's got stuff you can't even see, just to stop the counterfeiting. So it's the first new Australian.
Yeah, because that's the guy to fix it. Make stuff you can't see, so you can't tell if you've been given a counterfeit note. That's that's well done there, fellas.
But only the government can tell.
The machines can see.
Only the yes.
Yeah, but if you've got counterfeit notes, you're not going to give them into a bank, are you? You're going to give them to the local mum and pop shop down the street.
But someone gives them to the bank. Eventually.
Yeah, but by that point, it doesn't matter. They're long gone.
It's the first new Australian currency note in a quarter of a century. So that's wow. It comes with a range of security features, including a world-first top-to-bottom window. Let me have a look at that again. First top-to-bottom window. Where's the window? It must be that white thing there. Anyway, it's and security features that can be viewed when the note is tilted. It also features different species of Australian wattle, the prickly Moses, and a native bird, the eastern spinebill. I've never heard of an eastern spinebill. The comes this,
really.
Yeah. All of us Twitchers know about that, mate. Come on.
Now, the $5 bill comes after 10 years of research. 10 years of research. How do you get a gig like this, eh? 10 years of...
You apply to the government, say, I want to waste a lot of money, and they hand you the blank check. That's how research grants work.
What are we spending it on now? $5 notes or the census? What are we going to blow it on?
Yeah, that's right.
Online voting.
That's finished. The rollout comes, 10 years of research, trials and consultation with the cash handling industry. What? And counterfeit experts. The current $10 banknote will be upgraded as well, and it's going to be released in about a year. So there you go. Not really, I suppose, got a little bit of tech-related story.
Yeah, well, the research conducted by Vision Australia found that 61% of the people who are totally blind have trouble differentiating between the banknote denominations, of course, because they're, apart from the $5 note, they're pretty much all the same size. And half of these people do not receive the right change on most occasions. 93% of people who are blind or have low vision have advised they would welcome a tactile feature. In the last few years, developments of note printing technology have made it possible to include tactile features as part of the structure of the banknotes rather than being embossed or added to the banknote later. The tactile feature will last a lot longer. The introduction of tactile feature is one of the most significant inclusive actions to take place in my life, having to rely on other people to identify the money, was just rude. But when I got a new $5 banknote, I won't be able to use it to buy. And yeah, they talk about how, go on to talk about how it reminds them back in the old days when all the notes were different sizes and made of slightly different paper, and you could tell. But now I think on the $5 note, I think it's the little flowery looking strips up the center, I think, are the tactile.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't got confirmation on that. It's just what this picture's telling me, but it could be wrong. But yeah, so all the new notes that are being released do have that sort of tactile thing. It's interesting that myself in retail, and a lot of my friends who do retail all the time, we can actually tell what the customer's handed us without looking at it because we're so used to handling the notes, we can tell what a note is without looking at it.
Yeah, right.
But unless you're doing it day in and day out, you wouldn't know. But it's good that they're doing that. It'd make our job as a retailer easier too, because if if you do get two notes stuck together, you're going to be able to tell there's two notes stuck together.
I know, like when I went to the US, and their notes, like they're all green, they're all the same size. It's crazy.
The US is getting all their notes redesigned at the moment as well, and Australia's going to be printing them for them because we're the only ones who currently have the plastic money, and that's what they want.
Yeah. I think we're world leaders in the plastic currency and stuff.
The only time I hate plastic money, it's the worst thing to put in tills, to try and keep straight, to count, to put together, to wrap it. It's horrible. The only time I love plastic money is when you put it through the washing machine. Best stuff in the world. Love it to bits.
And if you put it in a tin in the backyard, it probably takes longer to rot.
Actually, sun destroys it fairly quick. I've left $5 note on my dash for 2 weeks, and it's been almost unusable at the end of 2 weeks.
You want your car broken into, do you?
It was just out the backyard, just the car sitting there. I just forgot I had it sitting there.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's good that they're coming this way. I'm not fussed about the new security features. The more security features you put in, the less people care. But it's the old adage: keep it simple, stupid. You know, back in the old days when we only had serial numbers to worry about, you know, people actually took the time. If someone handed you $100 note, they'd actually take the time to look at the line through the note and the the serial number.
Yeah.
These days, if someone hands you $100 note, you don't even think about it. You just take it. You know, you're like whatever, because for a counterfeit note to look as good as a real note, it basically has to be a real note in terms of the end user. So, my bank, where we deposit our money at work, when we hand them bundles of hundreds, they just throw it in their drawer. They don't look at it. They just count them the same as we do. Fast count, check them, bundle them up, chuck them in the drawer.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they've got, you know, 50 grand in $100 notes sitting in their drawer, and then it might get checked at the next point. But
I think what you do is, if you do find you got one, you got to get rid of it as fast as you can.
Well,
don't get stuck with it.
I got two $50 notes out of an ATM one day that had nothing in the window. They had the clear window, but there was no print left on the clear window.
Well, that's a bit dodgy.
I went to the supermarket. There was one of the ATMs inside a supermarket. And I went to the supermarket to use the note, and I said, well, hang on, your ATM just bloody gave it to me.
Yeah.
And they went, no. I said, yes. I said, it did.
Yeah,
So we rung Chubb or whoever it was, and they had a guy in the area, and like 10 minutes later he was there, and they pulled out the hopper, and there was like 20 notes in there, and none of them had anything in the window.
Yeah.
And he's looked at them all, and he's done the authentic. No, they're authentic. He said they just must have all had it rubbed off.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, look, Jace can't be with us this week, but he's sent us a video message from, where is he? The mid-central coast or somewhere? So,
Northern New South Wales now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, cool. So good on you, Jace.
Hey Aussie Tech Heads, Jason Oakley here, aka Warlock. Well, we've made it to 500 shows already. Are people still watching this? There's no accounting for taste, is there? I'm so glad to have been able to be a part of this wonderful podcast. I made some cool friends in the hosts and really enjoyed having my say each time I'm on. I wonder what the future will bring. Maybe Microsoft will actually bring out something exciting. Nah, not likely. Sorry I couldn't make it tonight, but there was a family matter to attend to. Here's to another 500 shows. I'll do my best to make it to the 1000th one, if we're still alive and haven't been kicked off YouTube. Bye!
Oh, that was nice of Jace, wasn't it? Yes. All right. Now, let's move...
Good to see he's thinking of us even when he's not here.
I know. And I've got another one coming up a little bit later in the show. Mark gave us a quick little video, so stay tuned for that one. Apple forced... Now, this is right up Michael's alley. Apple forced to pay $20 billion in unpaid taxes. You across this one, Michael, or you want me to keep...
No, keep going.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm semi-aware of it, yes.
So, as you know, what could you say, fondly known as, what is it, double Irish sandwich, or whatever, the way that they, the tax system or whatever that Apple uses and other multinationals, Apple has been ordered to repay 19.2 billion Australian that equates to 13 billion euros in unpaid taxes, after the European Commission found that its Irish tax structure illegal under the EU state aid rules. Now, 20 billion, geez, that's going to hurt. They won't want to be giving that away.
They won't.
No, because what have they got? They got about 100 billion in the bank.
No, 268 billion.
Oh, stop. Okay, well,
100 billion. That was so 4 years ago, right?
Oh, you're kidding.
That's just what they carry around in their pocket.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money in it. The Commission found that through two tax rulings, Ireland had artificially lowered the tax paid by Apple since 1991, enabling the Irish tax dodge that has enabled Apple to pay an effective tax of less than 1%. I think when you look at it in those terms, like, that is a bit low. I think they could probably, pay more, even though it's legal, and they're not doing anything wrong. I think 1%.
Well, I don't know. Would you prefer 1% of 10 billion or nothing because they've gone somewhere else?
Yeah, but that's true. But what I'm saying is 1%. It doesn't matter. Like 1% tax. No, it's not right. It's not right.
It's legal.
Yes, it's legal. That's what I'm saying.
And it's legal because they'll take the 1% of 10 billion over the nothing.
And I think that's probably what. That's why Ireland has all these little snug little rules. It's to entice not just Apple, but I think Google does it, and I think there's other ones as well. I think I've got a list of them down here somewhere. But
if you've ever read or listened to Googleplex, you'll find it's exactly the same thing. Google will go to a town, a struggling town who's struggling for employment and struggling to keep businesses open, and they'll say, we're going to spend $500 million in the next 12 months, and you're not going to charge us for the land, for the power, for the water, or taxes for the next 10 years. But we're going to employ 150,000 people guaranteed for the next 50 years. The town goes, no worries, come in.
Yeah, look, I don't blame Ireland. I think, if that's how they going to balance their budget or whatever, like, good luck to them. If they can sustain that, that's great. But what I suppose you could also say that you could say, why is the EU sticking their nose in like they do? I think that's their pastime.
Because of the EU.
Yeah, it's their pastime. International Apple subsidiaries, including Apple Australia, report to Ireland. So we're in the double island sandwich somewhere there, probably just under the meat patty. The Australian company's immediate...
we get all the juice.
Oh, yum, yum. All the melted cheese, pineapple juice. Now, the immediate holding company is Apple Operations International, which is incorporated in Ireland. Apple has responded saying it's confident this blah, blah, blah. The decision...
Oh, that's what they said.
will be overturned. I'm pretty sure that's probably what Tim Cook said when someone told him that to pay $20 billion.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty exactly like that.
He's probably like, what? Yeah, it's just one thing after the other for him, isn't it? FBI, EU, but hard at the top. It's hard at the top.
Well, they got Turkey, who isn't in the EU and has been trying to get in for the last 10 years or whatever, has already said, come and talk to us.
Right.
England, who just got out of the EU, has said, come and talk to us. Just before the announcement, they agreed to spend another $568 million or something, expanding their support team in Ireland.
Right.
Which is, it's another heap of people being employed there.
Yep. And that's the thing. Like, it's not just I can see both sides. I can see that they might be paying 1% tax, but geez, they employ a lot of people, and in turn they pay the tax.
They pay the tax. Yes.
So,
but yeah, and like, one of the comments today was Apple are having trouble understanding. So Ireland hasn't asked for the money. The EU has said you need to charge for the money. You need to charge this money to Apple. Ireland hasn't asked for it. And even if Ireland gets given the money, they've got to use that to pay off their debt. They can't. It doesn't get used for building. Like, it'll cover the whole health Ireland's health for a year.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And that's the thing. They're like, well, okay, yes, I'm going to potentially lose our biggest employer and our biggest investor in our country because you want us to repay a debt and we're not going to get any benefit from it anyway? Yeah. Excuse me? Why don't you go and ask them?
we might be seeing
It's like asking the bully at school for your lunch money back.
Well, Ireland will be the next ones to take off out of the EU. That's going to crumble to the ground, that thing.
Ironically, they've wanted out for a long time. If people I speak to a lot of people from Ireland, and because I go play online games with a lot of them, and they're like, "Why? How come England gets out and we're still stuck here?"
Well, they wanted independence, didn't they, or something rubbish?
Yeah, they want out. They have for a long time.
Oh, well, they just got to grow a set and get out.
Yes.
Yes. Now, what else, Will, has tickled your little fancy this week?
Well, you know how one of the most annoying things in the world is these stupid captures that every time you go to a website it says, hey, enter this information for us because, we need to prove you're a real person.
Yes.
I am not a robot.
Well,
I am not a robot.
Yes, I just act like one. There's actually a perfectly legit reason for this. And, okay, yes, partly it is to prove that you're a human, you can read the screen, you can type it in. But the main reason this here is because it actually comes around from things like the Google Books, who bought it back in 2009, the technology. And what it is, when they're scanning the books in, all the words you see are something they've scanned in. So the first word, generally, that looks like a word that you can mostly read, is a word that the computer knows, and the capture software actually knows it. And it knows it as, in this example here, it knows the first word as morning because it can read that and it's recognise it. The second word is from another page in the book that it's scanned in, but it doesn't recognise what the word is. So what it does, it says, can you type in these two words? Oh, okay. So the first word's morning. The second word in this case looks like...
Overlooks.
Overlooks.
Yeah. So you'd type that in, and then the Google goes, oh, cool, we know what that word is now. Thanks for basically passing the book for us. So when you're doing this, you're actually helping them do it. So in the last... since 2009, when Google bought this, through the use of CAPTCHA, humans around the world digitized 20 years' worth of the New York Times back issues in 3 months. Wow. Within the first year, 440 million words had been deciphered, the equivalent of 17,600 books. So basically what it is, it's helping the OCR software learn.
But that's good.
It comes back with the OCR software now comes back with a 99.1% accuracy, and of the captures that are entered, it bumps that up to something like 99.9% accuracy. So every time you enter a captcha, that particular style of one anyway, the one with the two words and the red and yellow text, is the relatively less painful one of the two. Because there's other ones where you've got to click on the rabbit and click on the thing. But
is that capture still current, though? Because I haven't seen that one for a little while.
No, I still see it getting around quite often. Mainly on blogs and things that aren't super critical. You won't see it in high security situations because you only actually need to enter the first word correctly. The second word, it's relying on you to get correct. So it doesn't actually matter if it's not right. You could actually enter anything at all for the second word. But it doesn't ask one person. It asks the same capture to 50 different people to get the correct answer.
Now, I noticed that with those, when you enter those capture words, that it's not case sensitive.
No, it's not.
None of them are. Not that I've seen. Yeah.
And that's a lot of that's to do with the fact that some sites are accessed on smartphones and caps locks are pain and stuff like that. So they don't bother about case sensitive generally, although I have seen a couple that actually are, but they're very few and far between. But yeah, so just bear in mind that when you're actually annoyed by this, just remind yourself that you're doing your little part to make the world more educated.
Yes, good on Google, eh? Good on them.
Yeah, making Google more educated.
Well, no, it's not just Google that uses it. It's a lot of other libraries and a lot of other places like that. Yeah. Google bought the technology because it was originally a private technology, and the original investors, or the original people who developed it, lost interest in it. So Google picked it up and started using it with their Google Books. But it's not only exclusive to Google. Anybody can use it. It's open source software. So you could write a book and you could scan your own book in and you could use it on your own webpage with your own book. It doesn't really care.
Yeah, okay, cool. Now, Michael, I forgot if I asked you the question, have you got anything you want to talk about this week, or are you happy just to contribute?
No, I'm happy just to rock along with whatever's going. Yep.
All right. Well, what about Harvey Norman? Sorry, Michael, and Apple, among most complained about businesses in New South Wales? That wouldn't be right, would it? Apple? Most complained about? Never. Anyway, New South Wales...
Aren't all Apple's customers loyal and dedicated to the cause?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know what they've got to complain about then.
Anyway, the New South Wales Fair Trading has released its first consumer complaint rankings. Now, have you seen this, Michael?
No, not yet. No,
well,
I'm looking forward to this. Yeah.
Look, I reckon it's all bull, half of it, isn't it? The Register empowers consumers. This is Rod Stowe from the New South Wales Fair Trade Commissioner. He said the Register empowers consumers to make informed decisions and provides an incentive for traders to improve their business practices and accept full accountability for the goods and services they provide. Now, if you believe that, you can have a look at the list here.
Oh, now, hang on. That's that's not the... All right, I know the one.
So, I don't the topping...
This is the one that you can jump online and complain about a business. It's not the actual formally lodged complaints.
But even so, you got LJ Hooker, who's got a beef with LJ Hooker?
26 people, apparently.
yeah, but that's the thing, and only 31 for LJ Hooker.
That's the thing. That one there, I'll make sure on the website now, that's the one that you can click on, go to the website, file a complaint via the website. That's not the... official via official channels, whether it's the Ombudsman or whether it's through various different means.
So these numbers, they're so low, you know what I mean?
But it's only new, isn't it?
And this is for the month of July.
Oh, okay.
But so Apple, 13. that would be probably well within Apple's KPI.
That's less than I complain about them on a daily basis.
Well, yeah, if that was 13 a day, yeah, you'd be worried. But I mean, 13 in a month, like, but you know, that'd probably be like 2%, if that, of the total customers that walk through probably one store. So
less than that.
yeah, so the numbers are crazy. You know, Foxtel, that's on the list, 13. What else have you got? Get Qualified Australia, 10. People got beef with them. Grays Online. Probably because they can't spell Grays. They keep doing the wrong spelling.
Grays Online, and I know why. I know a couple of people complain about that. Grays Online have on one of their websites, we take 11% or whatever it is cut as part of their fee, but they don't mention it anywhere else on their site except on this one page. And so you've won an auction for $100, and next thing you know, it's actually cost you $110.
Oh, so you've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the buyer pays, not the seller.
Oh, that's crap.
Which is where a lot of it comes in, and they're perfectly legal to do. And most auctions, if you walk into an auction like Mannheim or any of those, that's how it works.
That's right. That's the way it's worth forever.
Yeah, you buy a car for for $1,000. It's then going to cost you another $150 in the
fees,
fees and charges and everything else. That's the way it's always worked. eBay is the exception where it charges the seller rather than the buyer. But everybody's so used to eBay now.
Yeah.
That's just what everybody expects, and when it's the other way around, they're like, "You can't do that."
But wouldn't it be better? But a business, like if they sell something, they can take that. That's like a tax deduction, that fee. But if the consumer buys it, it's just tough cookies, pretty much.
No, because it's just part of the standard sale,
Yeah.
and it can impact. Like if the buyer pays, and I don't understand why it's been so popular on eBay, because when the seller. I mean, it makes the seller's prices dear because they've immediately got to add 15% to cover their cost.
Yeah, that's right.
Straight up.
That's
so
right.
immediately all the prices are 15% higher. When the buyers are paying for it, then the market price becomes whatever they're going to pay, not what has been dictated to them.
Yeah, that's right. Well, anyway, I'm not going to buy on Grays Online. There's never anything there anyway.
They have some amazing stuff. They had, the other day when I was on there, they had 2015 server a company went broke, and they had last year's top-of-the-range HP servers. There was like 25 of them or something.
Yeah.
You know, at like $10,000 a server, and the entire auction closed for $900.
Oh, why were you in on that, Will?
Because I saw it after it closed.
Oh, spewing.
So, yeah, Grays Online actually has some absolutely amazing stuff. They're brilliant. The biggest problem is they've only got like 2 or 3 actual auction houses, so freight is the killer with them.
Yeah, look, I do know people that have bought from them, but I've never bought from them. I've never really found anything I've wanted, to be honest. But anyway. How about this one? This is one Michael hasn't heard before. Apple has killed off the Apple Store. Did you know that?
Yes, that's right. All they've done is drop the word store.
Oh, I thought I was going to get you all excited there for a minute. So do you want to talk about that? Do you like this idea?
Well, they're basically saying we don't. Our goal is not to sell stuff. That's the end game, is to sell stuff. But the goal is it's a meeting place. You can go and listen to music. You can go and have a chat to people. Use the free Wi-Fi. You can buy your adapters and things.
What
do they? The store part, but it's the experience, because they have lots and lots of lessons in the stores these days. It's not.
But when you say go and listen to music, does Apple encourage you just to lay around in the shop?
They have live bands play and things like that
in the stores.
In the stores,
not over here, or not at Robina.
You'd be surprised.
In their major stores, they do. Yeah,
Sydney does at least once a week. Oh, well, it used to be once a week. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I've actually been into the Apple Store because I had to take the boss's laptop in again for like the 4th time in 3 months. And yeah, it's actually pretty neat in there. I have to admit, they do a good job.
It's an experience. It's not a store. You don't get the hard sell. You definitely don't get the hard sell.
That's it. I'm glad they dropped it. It's not a store. You're right. It's really not. It's more like it reminds me of an old, like, lounge bar back in the 70s. You know, you just sort of go in, you chill. You know, you walk up to the bartender, you order something, you hang around, and then you walk out and you feel better. Like it's.
You do feel better, I think. Now, the flagship stores will no longer be called the Apple Store, and instead will simply use the location name. For example, the Sydney store is just Apple Sydney. So you get that. It's quite easy. What happens then if there's two stores in the one city? I don't know. Maybe it's like Apple Sydney East and Apple Sydney West, I suppose.
I was wondering that because there's actually, in Brisbane, there's actually a store called Apple Brisbane. It's actually an Apple distributor that's been there for as long as I'm aware of. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen there.
No, who knows?
I couldn't believe it would be called Apple Brisbane.
It's Brisbane Apple or Apple Brisbane. It's something. Yeah, it
might be Apple Brisbane Max Centre or something.
It possibly has something else after it, but it's
not allowed to be called Apple.
Trouble afoot.
Oh, it's been there.
All right.
I'll see if I can find it. I'm curious now. No, it would be because it's been there for. Oh man, it had the original Apple logo on it. So that's how long it's been there.
Yeah.
Now, as promised, I've got a little video from Mark. Now, for whatever reason, he recorded this on his phone, sent it to me through Skype, and it wouldn't play in the thing. So hopefully we can encode it or decode it, and put it in for you. But anyway, here it is. Here's a quick word from Mark.
Yo, how you doing, Glenn and everyone at Aussie Tech Head? Congratulations on 500 episodes. I just thought I'd give you a buzz in just to say hi and also say I'm proud of you guys because you guys are awesome, and also the fact that I'm really pissed off at the moment because the iPhone 7 has, I believe, has the earphone plug no longer on there, which in my mind is going to be an iPhone 7 will be very rare, because the iPhone 8 will have a headphone socket because they'll realise that they're just absolute dickheads because they remove something that is imperative to an iPhone being a practical device. And not only that, think of all the jobs lost from all the people who make the headphone plugs. That's a bit shitty, not to mention the sockets. But anyway, on that note, congratulations once again, and look forward to being on one of the future episodes. All right, bye-bye.
Oh, it's good to see Mark still alive and kicking. I don't know where he was. He's probably up in Southport there or Surface or somewhere. So that was good. Good on you, Mark. Good to see you.
Okay, yeah. I was just looking it up. It's actually called Apple Repairs Brisbane, but the way the sign's written is Apple Brisbane with repairs in small writing under it.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Is it legal? Is it an illegal authorised service centre?
Yeah, they've been there forever. They've been there. I did work for them 15 years ago, so they're still there. Yeah, they're just right in the CBD, actually, right in the main street.
Rightio. Now, look, I've just got another Apple story because I knew Michael was coming on. I must have.
Sorry, team.
Yeah,
you will be.
But Will.
That's right. You can be Eric for the night.
What else? I love my Apple Watch. Go on, my Apple Watch. Sorry, he doesn't say that, does he?
There's a new.
He actually doesn't like the Apple Watch.
There's a new Apple Watch coming out. They reckon. Is this
everybody's getting a new watch? Yeah,
that's my fault. That's my fault because they announced that the day after I bought one for my wife.
Right.
Oh, spewing. But can't you take that back? Can't you do something?
Oh, no, because I bought it second hand. I didn't buy it through Apple.
Well, there you go.
Yep.
But anyway, before we get on to that one, Will, anything else that you want to talk about?
I've got quite a few actually. I suppose we should get on to the Dropbox data breach.
Ooh.
68 million user account details leaked.
Yep. Change your password, everyone.
Yeah, 4 years after a data breach in cloud storage, Dropbox details of more than 68 million user accounts have been reportedly leaked. It was not previously known how many users were affected back in the 2012 hack. The data dump was also verified by security researchers. It's not a new security incident. There's no indication Dropbox user accounts have been improperly accessed. It confirms it was back in mid-2012. But the only reason I'm mentioning this is because I got an email from them start of the week, end of last week, start of this week, and it didn't say click here to change password, none of that, it wasn't spam. It said log into your Dropbox account, go to your settings, and update your password. because of this security breach, and now there's a, there's proof now that how many people's accounts have been released and had the information released. So they actually, it just prompted me to remind people that if you haven't changed your Dropbox password, make sure you do that, because it's potential. I mean, back in 2012, to have 68 million user accounts, that's, I would love to know the percentage of how many users that was back then, because that's a huge amount of accounts for a business that back in 2012 was only really not long been into it. So probably a vast percentage of their users, I would imagine.
Well, and go and change wherever else you might have used that password.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem, isn't it? How do you go, oh man, around that time, what was I doing? What services trying to remember all the different services and all the different things you've done. Even if you've got something like LastPass, if it's a service like we're talking about Empire Ave the other day that we're talking about, things like that, right, you think you're only going to use once or twice. You don't bother putting the password into LastPass,
Yeah.
It really is scary now. I was trying to work out the other day how many sites I have that I have to put a password into, and in Chrome it's actually quite easy, because you can go into your settings tab, and you can click on the show advanced settings, and then you click on the manage passwords tab there.
Yeah.
And when you click on that, it brings up all the passwords that Chrome has saved for you over the years.
Yeah. And so Safari's got something similar to that too. So.
I've got about, I don't know, I have to be 15 or 20 pages of stuff saved in there. So just to try and remember to go back and what I've got to change, and what, things like Pastebin. I've used Pastebin once ever, but it's there.
Yeah, well, I got the email from Have I Been Pwned as well. So they're on top of it as well. But I changed my Dropbox password, so hopefully, fingers crossed, all is good. Next one, Will.
Okay, another quick one. Coming into breeding season for magpies, of course. So,
I saw this. Yes.
Get out your zip ties and your corks and whatever else works for you.
Ice cream container.
The neat part is there's actually an app now. Interactive Magpie on that map lets you know where dive bombing birds of death. I love the headline. I found. So the terrifying season coincides with cyclists in helmets fitted with cable ties, pedestrians with eyes drawn on top of their hats, and some hecto GoPro footage. While these factors might make you feel more protected against dive bombing birds of death, behavioural ecologist Daryl Jones says it wasn't necessarily the case. If you think you're a threat, they'll follow you and attack you for years. If you've been attacked in the past, you'll probably get attacked in the future. Understanding there's more, and it's so true. It really, and if you feed the Maggies at home and they're friends of yours, you can walk anywhere in your neighbourhood and they won't attack you because they all pass it around that you're a great guy. It's so weird.
Have you ever been pecked, Will?
I actually got hospitalised.
Oh,
I got attacked by when I was 7 or 8. I got attacked by 20 of them apparently. And they just swarmed me, and I ended up in hospital for 2 days with stitches and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, wow. I think it's more dangerous, obviously, if they get you in the eye. But,
well, apparently when I was a kid, just out of reflex, I basically curled up into a ball so they could only get to the outside of me. But, I have heard of people, I've been dive bombed by another magpie. Back in the day, I don't know if you remember the helmets, they used to be called hard tops. They were big, massive dome helmet things that every kid had to have, But I was riding down the street and a magpie swooped me, and he's come in and he's swooped me and then pulled up at the last second, and his beak is actually wedged in one of the vents on the top of the helmet.
Yeah, right.
So I had his feet dangling in front of my face. So they're pretty nasty. But yeah, there's a couple of different Magpie Alert's one of them. There's a couple of different apps available now for magpies. So go and check it out. The local park down from me has a massive big sign they put up the other day. It says, "Caution, this park contains swooping magpies." So at least there's that.
Yeah, I took the dog for a run The poor dog got copped. I said, go for a run over there. Get over there. And it starts running, and the birds, they just come down. I'm not sure if there's no blood, but I'm pretty sure that the poor little thing was getting pecked on the head.
Yeah, I bought when I was at Chimera, so it'd be 6 years ago now. I bought a push bike. I thought, cool, I'm going to get into shape, going to start riding my bike every day. I got halfway around the block. I got attacked by 2 magpies, and the bike hasn't left the shed since.
Yeah. Cry, baby.
But yeah, it is nasty. And if you've never been, there is some things you can do if you are walking down a path or something like that, and there's magpies swooping you. If there's a tree or a fence or something that's at head height, if you duck down and crouch, or if it's a high fence and it's behind you, if it's immediately behind you, they won't swoop you, because they can't safely dive bomb you and pull up. So if you're able to walk along a fence line or along a tree line, and they actually generally won't swoop you, because they can't get down and up without running into the fence, so they won't swoop you.
Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, but they are out and about, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be bad this year, they reckon, because it's the way the weather's happening. They reckon they're going to be breeding early this year.
Okay. All right, Will, keep going. You're on a roll.
Samsung.
Oh,
takes us back to 2000s with the Galaxy Folder 2 retro smartphone. This actually is, and I'll explain why I'm excited about this later, but basically it's as the name suggests, it's a smartphone. It looks like the older, was it Motorola, was it the Razrs or whatever they were, that had the square like feel about them. Yeah. It's dubbed the Galaxy Folder 2, have 3.8-inch display, Qualcomm processor, 2 gig RAM, 8 gig expandable storage. Comes with 8 meg rear-facing camera, 5 meg front casing, Android 6.01 Marshmallow. Not super high powerful specs, but then again, it's only a smaller phone, so it's not like you're going to be doing massive amounts of things on it anyway. It'll have all your usual Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. Should be around $250 for a fully feature-rich, phone. It's not too bad. They don't know when. They're not sure when it's going to hit the Australian market, unfortunately. There are a couple of other people doing a similar sort of thing. The Veyron will have a 4.2-inch screen, 4 gig of RAM, 64 gig internal storage, 12 meg camera. So there are a couple options. But
now tell me why you're excited.
The reason I'm kind of excited about this from a practicality standpoint is we're going back to a smaller form factor, at least when it's folded, which means you can flip it open and have a larger phone with a reasonable size screen, because it's not a small screen. I mean, it's still a 4-inch screen, so it's a reasonable size. But there's 2 other things. One is the screen's now protected, so if you do have it in your pocket and you bump up against something, or if you drop it, the screen's not going to shatter the first time you do it. The other reason is it's going to have an actual keypad rather than a touchscreen. So for years, when phones were a thing, we could actually type with a keypad, which might sound
does that excite you?
Boring, but yes. When you're, for example, taking public transport a lot and you're on a bus or a train or something like that, and obviously it's bouncing, on a touchpad it's very difficult to type the right word because your finger usually ends up on the wrong letter.
Yeah.
With one of those, you're not going to get it wrong. It also means it's going to be really easy to text while you're driving, but that's a whole other story.
All right, good.
Doesn't that mean you're going to have to hit the button 4 times to get M and then 5 times to get
it does, but actually, it's funny. I was watching a girl last year. Yeah, probably last year now. She had must be one of the last flips of Nokia or Ericsson or something like that. She was at the ATM talking to a other school friend, and they were having a conversation with each other, but they'd pick their phone up, look at it for half a second, put it back down, and they had a normal keypad, not a touchscreen, a normal dial pad, and they were texting. Like, they weren't even looking at their phone. Their thumb was just blah, 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 and they'd send it, and then the phone would ding, and they'd pick it up, look at it for half a second, put it down beside them. So in kind of a weird way, it wasn't interfering with the conversation they were having with each other, and yet they're both texting on their phone. Like, it was really intriguing to watch.
Yeah. Well, I can use I can change the TV remote, different channels while I'm talking. So, same principle.
I was thinking about it the other day. Back when I used to have my Nokia and my... What did I have? I can't remember half the old phones. I had Motorola and the old Savvy, the Philips Savvy, and a few other things. The Jazz. I could type, I'm sure to this day, I could type quicker on that than I can type with a touchscreen keypad. Because my fingers are so big, Even on my Note, which is not a small phone, now I've still got a big keyboard on it, but even with that, I'm sure I type faster on an old style keypad than I do by touching the screen.
Possibly.
They used to have texting competitions for the old style keypads, and people also used to be able to text without taking them out of their pocket. They just if they're in a meeting or something, they just go boom, 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 and continue on.
Yeah. There's something about the tactile feedback of a key I enjoy.
Oh yeah.
It gives you a sense of accomplishment that you've done something, rather than poke at a screen.
It could be anything. That's right. Apple announces the date for the next big product unveiling. Maybe a touch keyboard for their phone. Sending out. No, I don't think so. Don't think so. Now, look, there's the invite. See you on the 7th, it says in text. Below multicoloured lights, it looks like.
What does that mean? What does it mean?
Oh, it means you're going to get, they're going to slip LSD into everyone's drink when you're there.
Or is that the new colours of all the new, colours has always been a thing about phones. Is that the new colours, or is it?
Invitations have been sent out to the tech journalists and industry analysts last Monday. Staying true to form, Apple has revealed nothing about what it will unveil to the public. In a little over a week, it's expected the company will announce a new iPhone range and possibly a new version of the Apple Watch. Well, there you go. Michael's going, no. It's the 5th year running that Apple has held a product event in September. Well, whoopie-doo, good on them. And expected Apple CEO Tim Cook will show off major upgrades to the flagship product, the iPhone 7 next generation. Now, it is on September 7 as well. iPhone 7, September 7. Is that a Tuesday? Let me have a look. Normally Tuesdays, aren't they? Is that right? Eric would know.
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday. Yeah.
Well, it's Wednesday for us, but...
Yeah, it's still Wednesday for them.
Wednesday for them.
I was going to say it'll be Thursday by the time... Yeah.
Thursday, yes, for us, but it's still...
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Is that one that you get up for, Michael?
Yep.
Set your alarm. Set your alarm.
Cam keep going the way he's going. I'll be up anyway. I might as well watch something.
You might as well. You might get converted, Will. You reckon?
No chance of that happening.
I want to know if Johnny Ives is going to be on the stage. I want to know what's happened to him. I haven't heard of him for a while. Hope he's all right. All right.
He's fine. He was at a car event in England a couple of...
I think
six or 8 weeks ago, and talking about an old Ferrari and about the design of the old Ferrari.
Oh, yeah. I think I might have brought this up the other week. I do remember now that someone said that. But, yeah.
Yes, we talked about this 2 weeks ago.
Let's do a hashtag. Where's Johnny?
Can I ask a question about, just going back to the Samsung? There was a report this week that a couple of Samsungs have been catching fire on people.
See that? I was reading that. There's not a lot of conclusive either way, but look, it is entirely possible that lithium batteries catch on fire. That's what they do if there's a fault.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily anybody's fault. It could be a bad battery, bad charger, it could be bad circuitry. Sorry, I'm just trying to find one I've got sitting around here somewhere. It could be, multiple different reasons they can catch on fire. A lot of it is, especially with the younger people, they tend to plug their phone in, throw it under their pillow, so it gets super hot.
Yeah.
And what people don't realise is with the lithium battery, it's the oil between the layers of the battery that act as the electrolyte. Once the battery gets a certain temperature, that combusts. And as you know, once you light oil, it's damn near impossible to put out.
Yeah.
And look, whether it's a thing in terms of it is actually a problem with these particular couple of phones, whether it's the aftermarket batteries, whether it's just the original batteries that are old now. Because even working in the battery industry, I see all sorts of stuff come in, and I see batteries that that expanded, they can't even close the covers on their phones anymore, and they're still using them, and they go, my battery doesn't seem to be holding charge. Like, well, you're lucky it's not holding fire.
Yes.
So the jury's still out on that. I want to see a bit more evidence on that, whether it's an actual phone fault. I would be skeptical. There's that many fail-safes in place. Like the battery, the reason I'm trying to find one is to show you, but the battery itself has a protection circuit on it as well as the phone. So to actually be a fault there is I mean, it's possible, but it's very unlikely. It's more likely an external influence.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing when everyone was saying the Apple chargers or the rip-off Apple chargers. But I've seen factory Apple chargers catch on fire, and it's misuse. It's either the cable's damaged or the battery in the device is so old that it's pushing in too much current and it overheats, or they've jammed it in the power board between two other transformers and the thing sits at 65 degrees ambient temperature, So anything can fail, give it the wrong situation.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Will, better finish us off with a
couple of quick things. I was just going back through my Facebook feed. I was trying to find it. Early today, somebody posted on my Facebook page. They were driving in the middle of the outback. They're actually heading out to Ayers Rock, and there's a string of these yellow little triangles, and they're like, what is going on? And they pulled over and took a photo of one, and it says, caution, NBN fiber cable in this area. And like literally it's out in the middle of nowhere. And I was just trying to find that photo, but I can't find it on my Facebook page. But I thought that was hilarious. But one thing this is real interesting. If you get a chance, go to YouTube and search for the Dolmio pepper grinder.
Right, yeah.
Now, what it basically is, it's I don't know if it was inspired by some grumpy parents. I don't know how this came about. But basically, Dolmio's done a survey and discovered that, they say 63% because that's a nice round number, of family arguments at table stem from the use of technology. So what they've done is they've taken a standard run-of-the-mill pepper grinder and they've decided to put a Wi-Fi blocker in the top of it. So now when Mum serves up the meal at the table, and you got to watch the ads, and the reason you got to watch the ads is because they set the whole scene. There's a family of four sitting down to lunch. Little Johnny's on his iPad, Little Johnny's on his iPad doing something. Some guy comes in and changes to pot plant, and he doesn't notice. And then he changes out, changes all the things on the bench, and he doesn't notice. And then he comes along, and like the sister and the brother change with ring-ins, and he doesn't notice. And the mother and father change with just random people, and he doesn't notice. So like this whole event's happened around this kid who hasn't noticed that he's not even in the same house anymore. And so what they've done is they've invented this pepper grinder that literally has a button on top. So the mother calls up tea, like, right, tea's ready, everybody come to the table. They go to the table, they sit down, she presses the button on top of the grinder, and for the next half an hour, there's no Wi-Fi signals anywhere within like a 3-metre radius of this thing.
That's all right. I know. I've jumped into the router here at home, and I've put blocks on it till 7:30 in the morning. So I'm sick of kids getting up at 5:30, and I'm hearing ding, 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 and wee, wee, wee.
That's when they're doing their homework, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, unlikely. Yeah. All right. You done, Will? Or you got any more?
That'll do.
That'll do. All right, good stuff. All right, so, thanks for joining us for episode 500. It's a bit of a milestone, I suppose. I know we didn't do too much this time round playing old episodes or whatever because, honestly, I didn't get time to go through and troll through
with
it
all
all.
the technical dramas we had.
That's right.
We didn't get time to do any of it.
And you guys don't want to know what's gone on in the past. You take heads, you want to know what's going on in the future. So, we ditched that idea. But if you want to, all the episodes are up on the RSS feeds. Maybe you can't go back to episode 1.
No, they only go back to, I was looking today, they go back to about episode 310 or something like that.
Right. And Will was just saying before that you've been on the show since 3.
That's why I was going back to look because I think I started at episode 200.
You could be right. That does.
I think is where I started, and which would make it my 300th show.
Yay! Happy 300th.
I'm not 100% certain on that, but I did get a note, a Facebook, Your Memories Facebook thing today saying, join us for Aussie Tech Heads tonight, and that was episode 200. So it's got to be pretty close. And that was also tonight, like the same day, which is kind of freaky.
Yeah, and I think the 16th, or around about the 16th of September, is actually like the 10th anniversary of the show. So that's Yeah, massive, isn't it?
We might have to all go and meet at a pub somewhere for the night.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be
Do
nice.
do a live stream from the pub. That wouldn't end badly at all.
No, it wouldn't. All right, look, also want to give a shout out to Milo and Miko. These two, I've talked to them over the period of the 500, and they've always they've contacted me here and there, and Milo and Miko been here since episode 1, I believe. So good on you guys.
PA's got to be in there somewhere too.
Yes, yeah, PA. He'd be. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever asked him when he joined, but he's been
really early on. And Ozilla's another one. He's a expert.
Yep. So there's a few people around since episode 1. I wonder if they're still there. Hello.
Anybody out there? Can you hear us?
That's right.
Is there anybody at all?
All right. So thanks, Michael. Thanks for coming in. For
Pleasure,
the
mate.
500.
Thank you.
It's like a quick
Excellent.
score.
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, thank you. No worries. Good stuff.
I know what a challenge it is. So well done.
Yeah, thanks. And
me and Warlock carry him a fair bit of time. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you carry me too much. You don't have time for your own shows. So.
That's not far from the truth, actually.
All right, so yeah, thanks, Michael. We'll catch up with you on the Aussie Mac Zone and hope to see you on the Aussie Tech Heads again pretty soon. And thanks, Will. Thanks for coming in when you're a bit tired and stuff.
No worries, mate. And I'll see you in another 500.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go again. Okay. And thanks, everyone, for downloading and listening and watching us on YouTube or whatever you do, the Aussie Tech Radio, whatever takes your fancy. I'm glad that we can provide something that you like and enjoy.
If we play our cards right, we may also be on iHeartRadio if things go according to plan.
Oh, iHeartRadio. How do they make their money? Just out of curiosity.
I'll talk to you about that later.
Okay.
It's a little bit weird. I can't sort of explain it in 10 seconds.
All right. I was only thinking that today because the wife listens to the 90s station or something, and there's just no ads. And you think, and it's like DJ'd for Australia or something. Mm-hmm. I just go, how do they make their money? So, I don't know. Anyway, maybe Will can talk about that next week and enlighten us all. All right. Until then, I can't wait. Okay, until then, it's have a nice week, have a good week at work or weekend, whatever. Go the Sharkies! Let's go! All right, see you then. Bye-bye.
All right, mate. Bye.